First game of Super Rugby Aotearoa is in the bag, and it was a nail-biter. Highlanders get the job done, 28 points to 27 over the Chiefs. It was a weird game. It was a thrilling game. It was a cracker. It had different, not necessarily law interpretations, but the ref was being an absolute stickler on the breakdown. The penalty count is astronomical. I'll get to the numbers later on. Talk a little bit about the game in terms of how it went, some of my thoughts, some of the key players, and if you guys have seen it, you guys can let me know your thoughts. I'm sure the highlights will be up on the Super Rugby YouTube page at some point, if not already. 28 points to 27. If you didn't know from the prior lineups, Josh Ioane was injured in training the day before this game, so Mitch Hunt ended up having to move to his more familiar position of 10. Koroi jumped up from the bench to play fullback, and Bryn Gatland, whose name will probably come up a little bit later, snuck his way onto the bench to face his dad's Chiefs side. It started pretty well for the Highlanders. They got a penalty early. The Chiefs were offside, and it was 3 points to 0 early. I think it was Trask who was offside for the Chiefs. And again, it was that kind of thing that they've talked about it in the build-up to this Super Rugby Aotearoa competition, that offside, you're not going to get any benefit of the doubt. Unless you are clearly onside, then you are offside. So that was a lesson to be learned from some of the players. And if the refs keep on policing the game the way they did tonight, we will either see very high penalty counts like we did tonight, or we will see the players really have to make an effort to get back onside quicker, because there's really no margin for error. The Chiefs, with their first penalty, decided to go for touch, not the posts. They set a maul. They went for a quick line out, and eventually they knocked it on. Stevenson at one point got put into touch. So the Chiefs' tactic early seemed to be to play fast, not to take any penalties. But the way the game developed, they had to switch that strategy because they weren't able to really break down the Highlanders' defence. Because their defence was pretty solid in terms of the tackles. And with the laws that break down the way they are, they were able to turn them over quite a bit. They did get a penalty through DMAC on about 8 minutes, and that made it 3 points apiece. They went in front with a second penalty on 13 to make it 6-3. And it was a pretty good one. But then 14 minutes, the Highlanders did what the Chiefs were doing, which was, we're going to get a penalty. This time we're not going to kick for sticks. Mitch Hunt's penalty was struck good enough, but it wasn't exactly flying off the boot, so maybe he didn't feel confident because it was a pretty tricky kick. But they went for touch. That was a good kick. His kicking for touch was pretty good, and they set a maul, and their maul was one heck of a weapon. They got a maul try through Dixon on 16 minutes, and they did miss the conversion, which was kind of an easy-ish one, which makes me think definitely it was the right choice to go for touch rather than the sticks. 20 minutes, the Highlanders had a penalty, and can't read my own handwriting. Something happened. Wayward kick. 5 metre line. That's what it was. The Highlanders penalty. It was a great kick. Again, the kicking for touch. It was on the halfway line, and they kicked it essentially directly to the 5 metre line of the Chiefs. So kind of pinpoint accurate stuff, which you can do at that stadium because it's covered and the wind is not as much of a factor. 21 minutes, Tompkinson gets a try. Again, it's largely from that kick which I just mentioned, which went 5 metres out. They didn't get it directly because the Chiefs got the ball from an intercept, but then the Highlanders ended up getting the ball back a couple of phases later. And it was maybe hint of a forward pass, but I think on the replay, the pass from Rob Thompson to Sio Tompkinson was a good one. What a midfield combo in terms of names, right? Thompson, Tompkinson. They awarded the try. So, the Landers were looking pretty good value at that point because the Chiefs did go into this one as big-time favourites. 27 minutes, though, Wainui gets his try, and that one, even me here from my chair, I could see it coming a mile away. It looked like there were numbers over, and sure enough, Tupaia busted a tackle, and Wainui won't score many easier tries than that one. And, it was 15 points to 13. Akoi, on 31 minutes, he's an early sub for the Chiefs. He was good ball runner. Made a wee bit of a line break, and Koroi, when he tackled him, lifted his leg, lifted him beyond the horizontal. On first glance, it didn't look all that serious, but when you slow it down, and it always looks worse when you slow it down, he did kind of fall onto his shoulder. The Chiefs asked the question, should that be a red? But the TMO and the refs, ARs, decided it's yellow. So Koroi into the bin. And during that period, the Chiefs managed to kick a penalty. But during that time, they did manage to score a try, did the Highlanders. So there's a few moments in this game where you look at the Chiefs and go, shake my head moment. The fact that you're conceding a try when you've got the extra man was a pretty bad one. Again, it was a Highlanders breakdown penalty. They kicked for touch. It was a line out. Again, it's a great one because it's only 5 meters out. They maul it, and they go blindside through Tu'u, and he goes over for the try. Great conversion, makes it 22 points to 16. So they win the yellow card, 7 points to 3. So the Highlanders with a man down managed to win that yellow card period, which is phenomenal for them. That's how it goes into a half-time. Possession and territory stats are pretty much even. The Chiefs, though, with the run meters, 296 to the Highlanders 141. But you can see the way the Highlanders are playing the game. They've had 18 kicks to the Chiefs 11. So you felt like that game. The Chiefs are down the Highlanders half, phase. They get turned over. Highlanders kick it long. Or, Chiefs knock it on. Highlanders kick it long. That was kind of a wee bit of rinse and repeat, but the momentum was going back and forth. Penalties conceded was 6-7 at halftime. That's 7 to the Chiefs. And knock-ons was 3-4. That's 4 to the Chiefs. Second half, there were more penalties. Again, that was a real theme of the game. Koroi came back on not long into the second half. Chiefs kicked the penalty to make it 22-19. Remember I talked about them turning down the penalties early? I mean, they ended up kicking 4 of the things. They didn't score as many tries as the Highlanders. You would usually probably flip this one on its head, but that's the way it worked out. Aaron Smith at one point, and I was shaking my head because the Highlanders had they had a penalty inside the Chiefs' half. They've got their 10 who's kicking the ball on a string into touch to put it pretty much 5 meters out, and a maul, which is all over the Chiefs' maul, seemingly on attack. And he taps and takes the penalty quickly, I guess seeing an opportunity, but it's not there. The Chiefs win a penalty and turn him over. So, I thought that was a pretty disappointing one for the Landers, to be honest. 58 minutes. 58 minutes, it's a penalty for offside. That one was ALB. And then 60 minutes, Nadeki, he gets yellow carded for taking out... did I not? Anyway. Nadeki gets yellow carded for a aerial contest with DMAC. It's a clumsy one. It's one where you're thinking, if you're not in a realistic position to get the ball, don't go for the ball, but he kind of does, and all he does is really manage to do and get in DMAC's way. Damien McKenzie doesn't fall in any way, which is dangerous, but he still took him out in the air, and it's still a yellow card all day long. And this time, the Chiefs actually managed to capitalize on that yellow card period. The Highlanders, though, do get warned, like immediately after that, for conceding another penalty, that if you get another penalty, you're going to get a guy in the bin. They fortunately didn't end up getting that kind of followed through on, because they had a little period of momentum immediately after that warning, but they did concede a penalty a bit later. And if you're a Chiefs fan, you might be thinking, there was only a couple of minutes between it, why did that warning kind of expire? But it seemed to. ALB got his try on 71 minutes. Again, there was maybe a hint of a forward pass, but I thought on the replay it looked pretty good. It was down on the sideline, so when the Chiefs finally did crack that Highlanders defense, they had to do it wide, and they missed the conversion. So it was 25 points to 24. The Chiefs 1 point behind the Highlanders, and all the momentum, though, at that point was with the Chiefs. It looked like it was only a matter of time before the Highlanders finally cracked. And sure enough, a few minutes later, DMAC kicks a drop goal. He won't have many drop goals again where he has as much time as he had to set for that one. They were going phase after phase, I guess. Maybe the Landers didn't see it coming. There was nobody closing him down, and he just slots it over from pretty much straight out in front. Chiefs go in front, so the lead's changed for the 5th time at that point. and you're thinking, surely enough, it's going to be the Chiefs to take it out. But pretty much right after the kickoff, Bryn Gatland, who wasn't even supposed to be playing in this game, comes on off the bench. He's been on for about 20 minutes, I guess, by that point, and slots a 30-odd, 40-odd meter drop goal. It seems kind of struck ugly. He was under a bit of pressure. He had like 3 guys closing him down. It takes a bit of a bend, but sure enough, it goes over the sticks to make it 28 points to 27. And the Landers see out the last couple of minutes without managing to concede a penalty, and they win the game. Unexpectedly, as I said, they were not the favourites, but at home, they are definitely a tough beast. So, yeah, definitely the players are going to have to adapt to the reffing, because the penalty count was 17-13. That's horrendous, man. That's 30 penalties in the game. That's huge, although the momentum of the game still kept moving despite those penalties. As I said, the Chiefs kicked 4 of them. The Landers had a couple. They did manage to score more tries. As I mentioned about the Chiefs seeming to have more of the momentum, they had 54% territory and 59% possession. Other way around. 59% territory, 54% possession. So that second half, they were really trying to turn the screws on the Highlanders. But the Highlanders' defense, they tackled at 85%. They had 122 tackles. The Chiefs only had to make 78. So the Landers were made to work for it, but they also really made the Chiefs work hard on attack. Couldn't quite crack them. Chiefs lineout was disappointing, 77% accuracy, whereas the Landers were at 100, which is phenomenal. Maybe the Chiefs, that's where their kind of injury list is kind of showing its ugly head. Run meters 307 to 434. So I guess that kind of goes with the way the teams play. But overall, what can I say? Cracking game. Rugby is finally back. And what a way to get the season underway, man. A 1-point thriller. Tomorrow we have the Blues and the Canes from Eden Park. I'll be going to that one, so it should be a fantastic one. You guys let me know your thoughts on this game. I've just literally read through my terrible handwriting immediately after the game. But what did you guys think? What were the key moments? And kind of key plays? Who impressed you? Who disappointed? And yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.